Hello everyone, how are you? We're already on to module 8 of the course and the finish line is in sight. Let's admit, this course has been nothing less of a roller coaster for so many of us and you've hung on tight, so take a bow. The Tilly Foundations course is not a mean feat. It is packed with rich content and valuable takeaways, so I wholeheartedly commend you for engaging in the thrills and allowing yourself to go beyond your comfort zone from time to time. This past week, you shared some incredible examples of what teaching means to you by using analogies and imagery that spoke poignantly. Thank you for your fabulous contributions to the teaching metaphor slide deck. This experience seems to have resonated with many of you, and the narratives are remarkably thoughtful and creative. Here are just a few highlights. Martin's analogies of art and being a guide on the side resonated profoundly with many of us, while Anisa's note on embracing your learner in a warm and safe space is a much needed element in today's classroom. I love Joan's analogy of being a performer because we all know no matter what happens backstage, the show must go on. Our next group of images and notes bring out the tireless work and collaborative aspects of this job. Shelby's metaphor of rowing and working in unison, BJ's coaching the team to success by tapping into unique player skills, Edsel's image of navigating the group efficiently, or Rebecca's anecdotal image of guiding and cheering the learners on to learn with them and beside them, just as Dishant says when we take on the role of a tour guide in our classroom. This group of caring, nurturing, and hands-on images speaks of teaching as being in the garden. Amy wrote about nourishing each plant differently, while Jody says it like it is, getting our hands dirty to build something beautiful together. Shuruk equates it to planting and watching a seed mature into a flower one day. Faria's perspective is well taken, that of being a candle and our endless giving of our time, energy, and knowledge, while Ali Khan uses the light image to remind us of the spirit of awakening, using a beautiful line from Persian poetry. Speaking of light, Joe tells us about how we can shine the torch and illuminate the dark with new ideas, topics, and the unknown. And finally, Abjan, who says with very vivid imagery that self-growth is in fact a messy road, and we are guided to recognizing and paving that path for learners. Ultimately, as one of our colleagues shares, we sculpt and shape. As instructors, our hands help others become what they wish to be. So this past week, you've had the opportunity to reflect and consider some ed-tech models, and I'm excited to see some of that in the upcoming tech assignment. It is this open sharing of unique talents, ideas, questions, and perspectives that makes the class a richer learning environment, and you have each contributed to building and nurturing this sense of community. This past week, you also submitted a draft of your teaching statement. I want to remind us all that by revisiting our core values and our teaching and learning philosophy, not only can we better align our teaching and learning practice, but see how it continues to evolve. For many of us, it's clear. The passion led us here, and our teaching statement can help us reflect further on where it will take us next, as a facilitator, a performer, a gardener, a navigator, a cheerleader, a tour guide, a path maker, a torchlight, a candle, a sculptor, or a coach. Coming up, in week 8, we start with a thorough understanding of learning outcomes and curriculum development. We introduce outcomes-based education as a first step in curriculum development. We will look at some frameworks for improving student achievement that help instructors clarify learning goals, devise assessments that reveal student understanding, and craft effective learning activities. The intentionality of backward design encourages the instructor to establish the purpose of doing something We will explore the movement from program level outcomes to course level outcomes to weekly outcomes and all of these essential steps towards instructional strategies and activities, which will be covered over the next few weeks. And as you take a dive into this week's rich content, you have the opportunity to engage in interactive knowledge check-ins using H5P that count towards your participation and engagement component for the second half of this course. You will also have the chance to practice writing learning outcomes in a collaborative fashion with others. And if you haven't already, don't forget to submit your teaching and tech reflection, as well as the first part of the participation engagement component. Students come to us with a goal or a destination, and we suggest a path to get there. Although we can alert them to hurdles they may encounter, we can't remove them all. Instead, we can help students to stay on course by accommodating the detours and stops they make along the way. It illustrates the complexity of teaching. There is no one way, often not even a very best way, to teach. Reflecting the warm demander approach, pushing students out of their comfort zone in a kind but forthright way can help them to achieve great things. To do so, we first need to convince students that we care. We're there for them. We're available and remain accessible. Communicating warmth, demanding effort, and respect are central to student achievement and engagement. And on that note, I'd like to let you know to reach out should you need to connect with me at any time, to talk through any aspect of the course, related assignments, or just have a conversation. In the meantime, stay well, and I'll see you in class.